Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the show. We had some technical difficulties and I was trying to get them fixed. I apologize. Let me reshare the show to a few platforms here just to make sure I get it right this time around. We had a little bit of tech issue and I had to actually delete the previous one. Let me delete it just to make sure people are not clicking on the wrong one. Move to archive. Move to archive. Let's see this. Very good. And let's try and share this other platform here just to make sure I share it to enough. Excellent. Welcome to the show, the Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund. We should have gone live exactly 7:30. I was actually here at 7:30, but we had some technical issues. I got it fixed now, and then we are live. We are live trying to make this work just to make sure we get the right people here. If you're coming on board, please help me share the show. Let's talk Liberia. The topic today is empowering Liberians through private enterprise. Please help us share the show. I'm trying to share the show to as many platforms as I can. I have a few Liberians join me. Let's talk Liberia. Let's talk about ways to improve the conditions in the country, to lift the country economically. That's what we are talking here today. Economic enterprise is the surest way to improve the conditions of our people through employment, through collaborative efforts, through raising money into the enterprise, through the industry. And I will try to explain most of it here tonight, what it takes to develop, what is required to develop, and what we can do as a society in order to improve the conditions on the ground. Like I said, if you're coming on board, please help me share the show. We are also streaming live on our YouTube page. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. If you're coming on board, like I said, welcome. I'm trying to share the show here to a few platforms. Welcome to the show. Let's talk Liberia. Welcome all. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me. Please help me share the show. For joining me. Please share the show. Okay, share the show. And I'm gonna put my number here as well, just in case in the middle of the show, people decide they want to call in, say what's up, and say how you doing, etc., etc. 578 1963. We're going to be talking Liberia, how we can elevate the country economically. If you're coming on board, I'm going to ask you to please share the show. We will be starting the show maybe in another 2 minutes or so. Let me just proofread this thing very quickly just to make sure I didn't make any mistake. Welcome all. Thanks for joining me. Please share the show. And let's pin this here. Let's pin this comment. Excellent. The comment is pinned actually on the Facebook page. We are also streaming live on YouTube as well. This is a brand new platform. We are trying to relay the show in Liberia. We are trying to relay the show in Liberia as well. If you're coming on board, please help me share the show. Let's talk about economics. Let's talk about how we can improve the conditions in Liberia. Let's talk about what it takes to improve those conditions in Liberia. Like I said, we are also streaming live on our YouTube page. If you're coming on board, please help me share the show. I've shared to at least 20 different platforms. I understand. Say, oh, Mr. Dwalu, so long you're not doing man cuss, so long you're not doing politics, no Liberian will want to listen. But yet and still, we troop to platforms that only criticize this, but a platform that never provides any solution. Wherever we have solutions, everybody runs away from that platform because solution takes a little bit more. It requires more. It forces you to do more. Hey, my brother Francis Morris Doe, welcome to the show. Habib Sharif, Mr. Sharif, how you doing, sir? Welcome to the show, guys. If you're coming on board, help me share the show. We'll be starting in like maybe 45 seconds. We'll be going live. Welcome to the show. We started the show. We had a little technical difficulty at 7:30, but we restarted the show. The goal is to bring a message. Some people listening after the show. We are trying. If anybody who knows a decent radio station, I'm trying to reach out to Eugene Fagon to have the podcast relay on the LBC in Liberia to send a message to our people. It is important that we talk. There's nothing wrong with talking, but it's even more important that we act in order to change the conditions in the country. If we just talk and we don't act, nothing is going to change. I don't care how much we pray, whatever we do, whatever we say, nothing is going to change until we actually force the issue, until we actually act in a way that lifts the country economically, in a way that encourages us to build industry, that encourages us to do something in the country, that transform the country, create jobs for our people. This is what we aim to do. We're going to ask you in the future, if you're watching this podcast, I'm going to ask you heavily, please share the show, pass the show around. We'll have some great message here tonight. And before I start, I'm going to play a little intro video. And let's start that intro video so we can go ahead and start the show in 30 seconds. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Like I said, my name is Ansu Opadwalu, and I'm broadcasting here from the great state of Massachusetts. The goal here today is how can we empower Liberians back home? Empowering Liberians through private enterprise. This is a discussion here tonight. Like I said, we are pushing to have the show relay in Liberia on various platforms. I'm going to actually reach out to my brother Fagon to see if he can relay this. I've reached out to the Spoon Network. It seemed they're hesitant to relay the show, and I understand this is their position. I'm not going to argue to the contrary, but I will say this: we will find a way to relay the show in the country because we have a task. Our task is simple. It is to improve the economic condition in Liberia, and we will do everything in our power to make sure this dream comes to fruition, that we can somehow, through grit, through the collaborative effort, that we can change the conditions in the country by putting our resources together so we can improve conditions on the ground. And I'm going to say this to you. Every Saturday, I come live at 7:30 p.m. to bring a simple message to the Liberian diaspora, especially, and to our brothers and sisters back home. For those of you in Liberia that's been saying, Mr. Dwalu, when you going to come here? I'm going to run to Liberia very quickly. This month, I will be in Liberia. I will have a Facebook post that's going to explain if you want to purchase shares in Liberia. You can go on it. You will be able to go on our Facebook post. I'm putting your information. We're going to print your share certificate, and I will bring it along with me into Liberia so we can do this. But I will say this to you. How can we empower Liberians back home to be able to take care of themselves, to be able to take care of their families, to be able to improve conditions in the country? The present administration, we are not talking politics, but the present administration is doing some good things that I've seen across the country. They're paving roads. They're building new bridges. They're trying to improve conditions on the ground. But I'm going to say this to my government, to the government held about His Honorable Jose Yuma Boakai. Development is great, but employment to our people is far greater. It's great to build the infrastructure, but we must also not forget the private sector in order to create jobs in the country. The only truest way to empower Liberians is to put money in their pockets. And the only way you can do that is to create jobs through the private sector. The Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund, the Liberian Diaspora Corporation, aims to do just that. Our goal is to help the government in its efforts to be able to create Liberian enterprise across the country. Liberian enterprise, look, we know we cannot do this alone. We understand this is a massive dream, and some people may find it difficult to believe that this dream is attainable because maybe perhaps we don't have the upfront resources to do this. Like I said, we've launched just close to, I believe, 5, 6 weeks now since we've launched this operation. We have raised some money. The money is minimum so far. It's coming in gradually. And I want to thank Liberians out there that are believing this dream along with me and that have committed their resources to be able to make sure this is possible. We've raised a little north of $40,000 in the first 5 weeks, but we know we can do more. Most people that have listened to me in the past understand this. Our target is $25 million. And I believe we are going to push to be able to raise this. If you're coming on the show, please thank you very much for joining. Please share the show. We appreciate this. The goal is to raise $25 million. And one of the reasons for the topic here today, empowering Liberians through private enterprise, is that private enterprise cannot happen without money infusion. In the beginning, we don't have the money. Almost every society that has developed, the government helped the private sector in order to develop. I'll give you an example what the Japanese did. At the turn of the century, Japan's were trying to develop. They wanted to industrialize. They were trying to expand the economy. The Dutch, the British, the Americans, the French, the Swedes, they were going into Japan and literally taking advantage of conditions. So what the government did do was this. The government decided to build some industries. They found the brightest minds and they funded those industries. Gradually, the Japanese telecommunication industry, the Japanese rail line, the West Coast rail line, the Eastern rail line, grocery, farming, large-scale fish farming. The government funded these initially. And what the government did was they improved it gradually. And then the government initially owned 100%. And then they sold a little bit of share. Over time, it was partially owned by the government. An individual enterprise in Liberia, enterprise in Japanese, entrepreneurs came in and they bought these companies and they began to run them. And the government ceded these companies over to private entities, and these private entities grew the Japanese economy. This is how every single society has developed. So when we come to our government and we say, listen, Honorable President, you've heard our cry. We've written to the government that we need seed money, even if it's $2-3 million, to be able to raise this $25 million, something that we can refund to the government after we raise our money. The government has to help the effort of the private sector to be birthed in Liberia. The private sector cannot be born until the government promotes this agenda. This is how it's done in Germany. This is how the Swedes did it. It's that the Norwegians and the Brits, this is how they did do it. They had capital infusion into their society to the government authority measures. They merged their fiscal and the monetary policies to improve conditions in their local locations. This is how it's done. Mr. President, we're appealing to this government to help us with seed money. We have set up all the platforms. We have begun raising the money, but it costs money to raise money. And I say this every single opportunity that I do get. It costs anywhere from 10 cents to 90 cents to raise $1. I'll repeat this. It costs 10 cents to 90 cents to raise $1. If you're a mighty giant corporation, maybe it will cost you 20, 30 cents to raise $1 because you have the platforms, you have the infrastructure to be able to raise that money. If you're nobody like we are, like the Liberian Diaspora Corporation, it currently is, it could cost you upwards of 90 cents to be able to raise $1. We are gradually raising the money, but this money cannot be raised part-time. We must raise this money with the full force of our might. We cannot raise this money part-time. Me and the Colo officers, we cannot bring people on board because we don't even have the money to pay them. Aziba Tupa has a job. Fatima is running up and down. I have a job. We are trying to raise this money literally as a part-time job. You cannot do this part-time job. I'm willing entirely to commit to raising this money 100%. It's going to take some time to raise this money if we do not get seed money. We're appealing to any well-meaning Liberian that understands this, that we can collaborate to be able to commit 100% of our time to raising this money. We cannot empower Liberians through speeches. We cannot empower Liberians through pictures. We cannot empower Liberians through building dilapidated schools that are poorly funded, that cannot improve. We must empower Liberians through enterprise and ingenuity across the country, through job creation. across our country, through expanding the human capital in our country, through building better universities in our country. The private sector is positioned, like any other country has done, to do this. We will say to Liberia across the globe, if you listen to this podcast later on, I want to say this to you. I want you to join us. I want you to go to www.liberiandiasporaequityfund.com, all one word. Go through the documents, send us your information, purchase a share. We will send you the share certificate. The share costs $100 per share total. It's $90 per share, $10 processing fee. The processing fee is used to run the operations. It's used to mail your certificate to you. It's used to print your certificate. It's used to organize your certificate. It's used to package your certificate. It's used to keep the lights on. It's used for computer, used for processing, documentation, and everything you can think about. We have some of our brothers up in Australia. They have ball sheds. I have a few guys out of Canada that have ball sheds. Obviously, here in America, I have a brother up in Qatar. He's been reaching out to me to purchase some sheds. And I want Liberians from across the globe to join us so we can put hands together and build a cooperation here in the diaspora that we can effectuate some change in our homeland. Let me say this to you. We will not grow. We will not develop if Liberia's sons and daughters do not take their proper place. I am not saying this because I just want to say this. I'm saying this because this is the true test way that it's been done from time immemorial. Nothing is going to change until we make a calculated decision to change it. And part of that calculation is putting our resources. It's organizing better as a people. It's finding our brightest minds to organize better, to go back to the country. This is how we empower Liberians on the ground through job creation, through enterprising organization, through forcing our government to understand that the private sector has an unlimited way of creating jobs. The government does have limited ways of creating jobs, but the private sector can expand forever. We can pull 2.8 million Liberians that are of working age, all of them, to work in Liberia through the private sector. Like I said before, the government only has the capacity, maximum, to hire maybe 40, 50,000 people in government. That includes the police, the soldiers, the teachers, the civil servants, etc. Maximum. We're a small country. Realistically, it's 30,000 people. But we blow the payroll because people have to get government job. And I've begun to say to the government, we cannot grow until we expand the private sector. If we don't put Liberians to work, we will remain a chaotic society that is going nowhere. I'll give you an example. The corporation aims to achieve 4 basic tasks. If you're joining me, I'm going to beg you, I'm going to ask you to please share the show. Let a few people come on so they can be able to take some calls and listen to our people and see what's happening to the country. The corporation aims to achieve 4 basic tasks, 4 of them. Number 1, primarily, is to make our shareholders money. This is the first and singular primary aim of the corporation, is to protect the resources of our shareholders and to make sure we make our shareholders money. Number 2 is to create thousands of amount of jobs across the country through enterprise, through expanding the Liberian economy, through industry, through ingenuity, through setting up shop across the country to put Liberian men and women to work. That's number 2. That's the goal of the corporation. Second goal. Remember, first goal is to make the shareholders money. Second goal is to expand. Is to create thousands of jobs across the country. Our third goal is to have economic influence in Liberia through the corporation. We in the diaspora, we need a voice in Liberia. And part of creating that voice, we must first create something of substance in Liberia that we can leverage in order to create that voice in Liberia. So third is to have economic influence in the country. Number 4, is to have Liberian expertise back into the country, they immigrate back to the country so they can take up the positions of teachers, civil servants, police officers, so they can take up the position of engineers and lawyers and accountants and carpenters, so we can continue to up the human capital in our society. This is what a corporation aims to do. And I want Liberians that are listening to my voice to join me in this effort so we can develop something from the diaspora that we control. How can we empower Liberians just by talking? It does not work. They will listen to you in the beginning. They are going to maybe say, oh, yeah, he's talking something good. But after a while, they have to go look for food to eat. But I want you to imagine this, that we go into Baku City and we set up a massive warehouse. In the warehouse, we buy, I don't know, 5,000 industrial sewing machines where we can make these shirts, we can make sneakers, we can make blouses, and we put 5,000 Liberian young women to work to become seamstress. We open this garment factory up in Bapoli City. We expand our economy and our environment. We go into Lofa County and we go into Bona and Nima and we buy massive 10, 15,000 acres of land and we invest into rest production that put another 5 to 10,000 Liberians to work, and we become full self-sufficient maybe after 5, 6 years of improving the conditions of rest mechanization. We're having a voice. We go into the southeastern portion of the country. We buy 3, 4 fishing boats. We set up cold storage along the coastal line, and we begin to expand our economy through enterprise, through the corporation. We can do this. Now, as the corporation grows, we build the Liberian Diaspora Corporate Bank in Liberia. We build the Liberian Diaspora University. We build the Liberian Diaspora Hospital. We begin to ask Liberians from abroad and tell them, say, listen, we have a purpose, we have a mission, we have a vision that must be actualized in our homeland. And collectively, we can go to the country and begin to expand the economy. We begin to grow the government tax base. This is the aim of the corporation. Yes, grow the government tax base so the government can be able to build more infrastructure, so we can have more clean running water, so we can build better high schools across our country, better universities, so the kids that are coming after us can become far better, far more educated than we are, way more intelligent. They will build a more robust Liberia because the foundation was laid by people who believe in a simple dream. And that dream is this: let's pull our resources. Let's come together as a people and build something that is far greater than ourselves. Let's build great big things in Liberia. I believe it's possible. It's possible. The endless dreams of this corporation cannot come to fruition in Liberia if you do not join me. I will continue to say to you, yes, it's true. We don't have the seed money to be able to actively 100% make this our job because we still have a family to feed. But we will still work. I work every single day, 5, 6 hours every single day after I leave work. I spend this on the Liberian Diaspora Corporation to be able to develop something that we can groom, that we can grow, that we can establish in Liberia to put thousands. My target minimally over the span of 5 to 10 years is to put 20,000 Liberians to work. I know somebody would doubt this and say, Mr. Dwalu, this is not possible. But I want to tell you a simple dream. Amazon, anybody can Google. I don't know the actual number. I have to look it up. But I believe Amazon has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of workers scattered across the globe. It was begun by one man in a garage selling books. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I'm being dead serious. Today, Amazon have millions of employees scattered across the globe. This is not magic. These are calculated decisions that was done over time, and the corporation was built gradually, and now that corporation is literally scattered all across the globe, and it created employment. It is not magic. We can replicate this in Liberia through the ingenuity, to the commitment, and to do a push to see our country develop. And one person cannot do this. We need capital to be able to do this. This is the aim of raising this money. The corporation is not a charity. And I'll remind you guys, we have our first in-person event to be held in Lowell, Massachusetts. You go to Eventbrite, you can reserve your seat. Your food is included. It's a black tie event. We have to start thinking about Liberia at a higher level, at a much, much higher level. Come, join me, join thousands of Liberians or hundreds of Liberians that will join me in that day so we can talk about ways to improve the conditions in the country. I will be present in person, presenting to my fellow Liberians and say, listen, we have a task, and our task is far greater than you and I. It's far greater than you and I. I want each Liberian to purchase 10 shares, minimally. If you cannot afford 10 shares, you buy what you can afford. But no matter what you do, I want you to join us in this effort to be able to breathe life into Liberia. This is my dream. I say to you guys, Ask yourself this basic question. What are we going to leave back to Liberia when we exit this planet? Have you thought about this? I want you to think about your own mortality and say, what am I going to leave to my country? What will be my mark on Liberia? It worries me. But I believe if we put this cooperation together, we don't have to ask ourselves that question anymore because we know we will effectuate some change in the country that's going to transform Saniquile, perhaps transform our beloved Buchanan, maybe perhaps expand Morovia and turn that into a proper metropolis, into a bustling metropolis that we can be proud of. But it takes effort, it takes a greater commitment. It takes pain, it takes strategy, it takes tenacity, it takes fortitude for us to be able to achieve this. It's not going to be given to us on a silver platter. We have to seek it out, we have to corner it, we have to aggressively seize it, and we have to implement it, and then we have to guard it and turn it over properly to our children so they can expand upon it. How are we going to do this if we are not willing to commit together? Look, I want you to understand this. And let's not allow our political differences, our tribal bickering, our regional separations force us not to develop something in our country. In order to empower Liberians, we must come together as one fist to create something that is far greater than ourselves. I want you to join me. If you're anywhere here in New England or anywhere here across the country, we want to say this to you. Please join us on Eventbrite. You can call the number. The number is pinned. If you're watching from Facebook, I'll pin the number. I want you to join me. And I would love if you can join me so we can be able to breathe life into Liberia. I want you to join me so we can be able to put our hands around Liberia. Last week, I spoke to you on the topic. Liberia needs a hug. Will her sons and daughters hug her? Or will we turn our backs on our mother and say, you know, that Liberia team, Mahina Insa? Liberian people cannot do anything right. It is your right to say that. And perhaps you have a justifiable reason why you are saying what you're saying. But we cannot all resign to the fate that our country will amount to nothing. I refuse to accept that. I refuse to accept that Liberia cannot grow, that Liberia will not grow, that Liberia will remain in a space permanently. Can we change this? Unequivocally, yes, we can. Absolutely, we can. But we must pull resources to be able to change Liberia. I don't know what to say to my people. Maybe I don't have the oratorical skills to come and say, listen, this is how it should be done. My message to you is simple. That in order for us to grow, we must lay down our differences, our disagreements. We must form one block. And that block must go into rubber sports and go into Tottenham and build something greater than ourselves and build some industry so we can begin the industrialization of our homeland. This is the dream of the corporation. And I'll say to you, people say, oh, Mr. Dwalu, you know, Liberia, nothing good can come from Liberia. It doesn't matter what you say. I don't live in Liberia anymore. I'm no longer going to Liberia. My kids were born here in America. My kids were born in Australia, in Europe. Liberia has nothing that I need. Liberia has nothing to offer to me. It is your right to say that. I am in no position to question why you're saying what you're saying. But I'm going to say this to you, and I've always said this. You are not Liberian because you were born in Liberia. This is not coming from me. It's from Mbeki, the former South African president. You are Liberian because Liberia is born in you. It doesn't matter where you go. You will always remain Liberian. You can claim, you can fake any accent you want. We are who we are until we embrace us, until we elevate us, until we champion us, until we build us to a level that we all can embrace and be proud of. We will continue to find excuses as to why our country is not developed. How can any man or woman claim in 2025 that something is not possible, given what we all see? that will have road going into the southeastern country portion of our country, full lane with proper convenience stores along the way, proper restaurants, and we got a Boston University out there in the southeastern portion of the country where we got qualified, top quality human capital in that location. So start building industry in the southeastern portion of Liberia. You tell me this is not possible because why? What is your reason? I've seen so many possibilities. Is what somebody would say in my middle years. I mean, in almost half a century that I've been alive, I've seen some things. I've seen the transformation right before my own eyes with the Rwandans, and I'm seeing the development of the Ghanaians, and I'm seeing what's happening in the Upper Volta, Burkina Faso. Seeing what the Singaporeans have done, what the South Koreans have championed. I've seen this location. I've been to this location. I've seen what's happening in Ho Chi Minh City, up in Vietnam, in Laos, and I've seen the transformation. And every single time my heart bleeds because my country is more than capable of rivaling them. I'm not kidding. We can rival what's happening in Ho Chi Minh City right now. We can rival what's happening in Rwanda, but it takes commitment. Honorable Boakai, we're begging you, we're begging the government. We need seed money to raise this money. We need seed money desperately. I've written to the government and I've reached out to anybody that I can reach out to. We need a lot more. We need a minimum of half of what we need to raise that. But we believe if this is not possible to attain, we will settle for $3-4 million to raise this money. This is not money that's coming to my pocket because this money cannot be raised part-time. We try all kinds of ways to see how we can raise this money part-time. We will hit atrophy where Liberian will become disinterested because we have a little short attention span. They'll say, oh, Mr. Dwalu, every day you want to talk about the Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund. How much money you not raise? If people start making fun of it, I'm not going to say it anymore. So, oh, my man, the money where I can raise, right now, that money where I not raise, I can double it. It's become a fun box. Something to leave a great legacy for our country. Somebody's making fun out of it. And I look at him, I laugh. Oh, my man, Liberian people, you can raise money, man. You get up from here. You got nowhere to do. You want to raise money. The country you live in, how you think it was done? They sell you bonds. They sell you stocks. They sell you mutual funds. This is how they build the highways. Don't take my word for it. I want you to do some research. Go to your high schools. They levy local taxes and they build those high schools. The superhighways you drive on, the malls you go to, the factories you work in, some of the companies you work at, they raise money this way and they build those industries. But when they come to us, we say, this is not possible. Mr. Dwalu, if I had somebody told me, Mr. Dwalu, you don't know where the thing can work, you must find a webman. You put a webman in front. Then Liberian people will come to be able to do it. But so long like you put your faith there, Liberian people can ask for you because because when they believe women. I understand the inferiority complex that has literally crippled the minds of some of our people. I get it. I understand it. And this is why this fund is absolutely necessary because we got work to do. We got work of enlightenment to do. We got work of transformation to do. We got work of education to do. We got work of making sure our people see what is possible so they can believe the possibility of what Liberia can become. I don't frown why anybody thinks the way they think about themselves. What I do frown upon is your refusal to understand that the possibilities of Liberia are endless. Endless possibilities. And those possibilities, we cannot capitalize on them if we don't put ourselves in a position to capitalize on those possibilities. Let me repeat this. The possibilities in Liberia are endless. However, we cannot capitalize on those possibilities if we do not put ourselves in the economic position to be able to capitalize on the possibilities that is going to transform my beloved Grand Bassa County. We cannot capitalize on those possibilities. And the only way we can capitalize on those possibilities is we got to pull our resources. We got to organize better here in the West, and we got to go back home into Ban, into Sonic, into Zway Drew, and we got to build industry so we can begin the industrialization of our homeland. If you're listening to my voice, or if you listen to my voice in the future, I want you to join us. I want you to join us, the Liberian Diaspora Equity Fund, to raise this money. I need each person in the diaspora. If you can afford more, I want you to purchase more. But we need you to purchase a minimum of 10 shares. If you can afford 5 shares, please do purchase 5 shares. But we want to raise $25 million. And we have no doubt that we are going to raise this money. But we need our brothers and sisters to join us. And I will continue to go on bended knees and say to my government, loan us the seed money, if that's what you want to do, or become a public-private corporation. We can join hands and we can put our men to work. We can put our women to work. Let's join hands, Mr. President. Let's join hands, the legislature in Liberia. Help us with the seed money. Let's be able to raise our people from the dungeons of poverty. Let's put these men and women to work so Liberia can begin to grow. An $800 million budget will do nothing to Liberia. It is nothing. It's a drip in a bucket. That is nothing. We need a $5-10 billion budget to be able to expand Liberia, to quicken the pace of development in Liberia. We need nothing less than a $5 billion budget. Nothing less than a $5 billion budget. And through corporate enterprise, we can get the government budget up to that level. We start building industries across the country, putting men to work, increase the government tax base, put money in the pockets of Liberia, improve our conditions in the country. This is the only way. The surest way is through public-private collaboration to be able to put these men to work so we can begin the industrialization of our republic. I'm going to beg you to join me, and I want to thank those of you who've already joined me. I've seen a few people that have joined, and I want to say to you, thank you for believing this dream. The money is being raised. The money's being raised initially. Some of the people that bought shares, like I said, your money went back because of Zelle issues. Some of your credit unions that have Zelles. Over $60,000 have been returned so far. I want you to still reach out to me so we can raise this money together. Anybody who's purchased share, if you want to know how much in the bank account, you go to the website. It's there. You say, Mr. Dualu, I want to see in the bank. I will screenshot it and send it to you because I believe you're entitled to this. Remember, this is a registered incorporated business here in the state of Massachusetts, and we have federal registrations as well. We have met all the guidelines. Everything is posted on the website. I want you to scrutinize what we intended to do. What we intended to do is very simple. We have 4 basic objectives. 4 basic objectives. Number 1, primarily, is to make our shareholders money. So everybody who bought shares to protect their money so we can grow that money. Primarily, is to make our shareholders money. Secondarily, is to create thousands of jobs across the country to put Liberian men and women to work. Tertiarily, is to make sure we have economic influence in the country so we can reorient the direction of our country towards modernity, so we can improve the conditions in the country. And number 4 is to get Liberian expertise back to the country so we can improve the human capital of our society. This is how we empower Liberian to do private enterprise. I want us to control the exports of our country. I want the Liberian Diaspora Corporation to control imports to the country. I want us to make sure we stop the importation of rice to our country, the importation of meat, chicken, pigs, and cows to our country. We can industrialize this through the corporation. I want large-scale fishing industry across the country. I want small-scale manufacturing scattered across my country, into Bapaloo, into Robertsport, into Hopper. I want us to begin true industrialization of our country. And the only way we can do this is to collaborate, is to pull our resources. I want you to see this vision with me. I want you to join me. This dream will die, or we will return the money back to the people who sent it. If you don't join me in mass, if we don't raise the money, we will return the money. That's what we'll have to do. But we will say this to you, that at least we try. We gave it everything that we could give it. Liberia would be stuck in one place if her sons and daughters do not put hands around her. The government can do only so much. An $800 million budget is no money for a country of 5.6 million people. The government needs money, and I hope the government can see what we are seeing. The government can see what the Germans saw by expanding the private sector. I hope our government sees what the Americans have known for almost 250 plus years, The private sector, private industry is the way to go. I hope our government sees what the Japanese saw and they develop their industries, they industrialize, they quicken the pace of the industrialization through infusing money into private enterprise. We are not asking government to infuse money. We say we can raise the money because Liberians in the diaspora are willing to raise this money. But we are asking the government for seed money. For seed money, $3-4 million. We can raise this money. You don't have to give that money in one instance. You can hold the money. We can verify the money. We can track the money. Here as an American Register Corporation, we have to make quality filings with the state of Massachusetts and the federal government. Everything is on paper. Even the certificates that I mail to you, I can receive for them. I package and I catalog them electronically and on paper as well. And hard copies are here in this office because I want everything to be accounted for. This is how we build an industry. This is how we build a juicing business in the country. Every single year when I'm in Liberia and during the plum season, I see plum just spoiling and we got no juice. Pineapples wasting. Coconut water spoiling and no work. I want you to think about this. Think about this. No juicing corporation in the country, and we're wasting plum, we're wasting oranges. Everything goes to waste in Liberia. We are cutting down the forest where we got millions, over 8 million coconut trees in the southeastern portion of the country. We can turn this to coconut oil. We use the husk to make coal. We don't have to cut our trees down. Private enterprise can build it. The machines are available. Give us an opportunity to develop something in our country. Mr. President, we can build a private enterprise in the country. If you're coming on, please share the show. Let's Talk Liberia. I just do the show for 1 hour every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. We are going live on our Facebook page. We're going live on our YouTube page. I'm streaming it from StreamYard, and we are saying to our republic, men must work so the Liberian family can be protected. If you've seen the quickening of the dissolution of the Liberian family in Liberia, it's mainly attributed to the lack of employment of our men and women in the country. If the men go to work, we build stronger families. We build stronger young kids that we can build even more stronger. Like Frederick Douglass would say, it is best to build a strong man than to try to repair an older man, or to build a strong child than to repair a man. You cannot repair a man so easily. He said in this way, let's come together. Let's build the younger generation, make them stronger than we are through private enterprise. Mr. President, hopefully you hear my voice. I've reached out to you. I reached out to anybody who will listen to me. It costs money to raise money. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. It costs money to raise money. We would not be able to raise this money if we don't have seed money. Or perhaps Liberians listen to me and say, you know what, Rondwalu, we're not going to fight for the seed money. We will contribute, not contribution. We will purchase shares. We will become owners. Will become equity holders in the Liberian Diaspora Corporation, and we are going to purchase our shares, and we are going to hold these certificate, and we will come together. We'll have an internet vote, and we'll decide what to invest into the country, and we can build some corporations in the country that we control. I'm going to beg you, and I'm going to ask you to join us to see this vision of national empowerment, this vision of strengthening the minds and making clear the aspirations and the vision of young Liberians in our country. I want you to join this effort. This vision to see that our highways have rest areas and hotels where you don't have to make accident in the night, that is built by the corporation, gas stations scattered across our highways, that is men and owned by Liberian enterprising Liberians that we collaborate with to expand corporate enterprise in our country that can put thousands of Liberians to work across the country. This vision that will make sure the Europeans and the Chinese are not fishing in our waters. We can use our own fishing boats to go to sea, and then we can sell them our fish. They are fishing in our waters, and we are sitting down. We are poor. Poor country, and we have all the resources. We can stop them through building our own, having our own ships go to sea and putting thousands of Liberians to work through building cold storage along the coastal line and put these men and women to work. We can improve the University of Liberia, get our brightest minds back to the country to go and start teaching at these various universities to improve our country. All the way out there in Harper Tubman University, I don't know if we got enough professors out there. As we haul Liberians back into the country, we start building the industry. Part of their responsibility will be to volunteer sometimes at our high schools, our grade schools, our universities to help prepare better Liberian engineers, better accountants, better social workers, better lawyers, and better professors across the country so we can grow as a society. The human capital is vitally important for quickening the pace for development. If we do not improve that capital, the human capital of our country, if we don't get enough human capital back to the country, to the private enterprise, the pace of development will always be slow. The Japanese understood this. They quickened the pace of the human capital development of the society. Over the span of 30 years, they became one of the top economies in the world. The South Koreans understood this. They did similarly. In Singapore, similarly, they understood the human capital was vitally important. The Americans spend billions. You go to any town and city in America, go to the budget. I've seen countless budgets from towns and cities. Go to the budget. Nearly the majority cost of that budget is developing the minds of the young people. Go to any town you live in America, go to the national budget. But how can we improve the budget if we don't have private enterprise? Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of this broadcast this afternoon. To empower Liberian to do private enterprise, we must pool our resources to be able to do that. And I'm going to continue to ask you to join me. If you live in New England, you can go to Eventbrite, reserve your seat on the 31st of May. It will be the largest Liberian gathering. It's a black tie event. We will be talking the elevation of Liberia to the economics, the elevation of Liberia to enterprise, to the entrepreneurship, to expanding the economy, and to the buttressing our efforts here in the West so we can go back to Liberia to create thousands of jobs that will put young men and women to work. This is the dream. This is the aspiration. I want you to visit our website, www.liberiandiasporaequityfund.com. I want you to visit that. And I want you to join us to be able to leave a legacy that will be far greater than each one of us. A massive legacy that transforms and prepares our country for modernity. That we can build clean, we can build roads, make available clean drinking water for the population. We can buttress the electrification process of our country to the private enterprise. We can come to the country. We build small-scale manufacturing so men can go to work. The corporation aims to do this. But this cannot be done if you do not join us. As I'm about to close, I want to say this to you. Liberia is not an orphan. Liberia got people. Liberia has her sons and daughters. Despite some of our differences, we are one people. We are the same people. We want the same thing for our country to develop. I want you to join us, irrespective of what disagreement we may have had in the past, be it political, be it personal. Let's set them aside for the glory of the Republic. Let's set them aside. And I need you to join us. If anybody, we can reach out to the president or to our government. Let's collaborate. Public-private enterprise, public-private partnership to build something in the country, to get some seed money, to raise this money. I'll quit my job today if we have seed money that I can commit 100% of my time to raising this money. And we are trying to relay this podcast into Liberia. Anybody will get contacts to some of these radio stations, reach out to me, and I'll be able to call them. Yes, we are willing to pay. This is what the fee is being charged. We pay the regulatory fee to the state of Massachusetts, to the federal government. We use some of the fees to pay that. for the radio station. We will equally use those fees to pay to the radio station to bring the message, to be able to raise this money, to get our voice to the ears of the right people so we can be able to move this thing along, to be able to raise this money and elevate our beloved homeland. And I'm going to say this, if you hear this message, Eugene Fagon, we want to relay on ELBC so everybody across the country can be able to hear this message. We are asking Liberians to join us. Liberia desperately needs you. We will not develop. Our children will not inherit a better Liberia if we do not collaborate to make Liberia stronger. Like the president would say, sing Liberia, love Liberia, and live together. Let's build Liberia. Once again, my name is Ensu Opa Dwalu, and it was a pleasure, as always, talking to you guys.